Hello and welcome. I'm Nick
I'm Dom.
And I'm Tony.
from Top Notch Sports, and today we're going to be over Survivor Season 44 season premiere. It was the first episode, 2 hours long. And yeah, this is a new thing that we're adding to this channel. We're going to do a little tiny podcast about things we're watching. So, ladies and gentlemen, Survivor Season 44, nobody on YouTube does anything like a podcast or reviewing things like that. So I said, screw it. We'll do it. We'll do what we do because we enjoy it and we enjoy the episodes. So I'm going to share an article about Survivor so you guys get to see the contestants, see who they are. And I want to ask you guys all too, all the viewers out there, comment in the comment section below and let us know what you guys think. Who's your favorite contestant? Who do you think is going to go all the way? And who do you really not like and want to see voted off? Before I get into anything, Dom, real fast, just, this is your first time ever watching. You are the rookie Survivor. First episode ever. What do you think about the first episode being the rookie guy?
Well, just reviewing it watching it for the first time, just not knowing anything from it. I think it's actually a fantastic first episode for me. A very nice pilot episode, as some would say. It kept me intrigued the whole time, even after the commercials. I just kept skipping through them because I was so eager to see what would happen the very next time. And I think overall, it was just a very nice episode for a quote unquote rookie.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
absolutely. Like I said, I agree with you. Like I said, so even if you're someone that has never watched Survivor before, you may very well want to tune into this. And again, we don't have our seasoned vet Survivorist, Noah the Huberman Thompson. Noah, we're waiting for you. We're going to have him on here. He watched every single episode, every single season. But right now, let's go down to another one of our seasoned vets, Tony. Tony, what do you think about this episode? I mean, I told you about it. You and me haven't watched the last few episodes, but we did watch this one. What do you think?
I mean, it was great first off, it was great to get back into watching it. Like you said, it's been a few years. I think it's been almost about 10 since the last time I watched the season. Uh, like I mentioned to you the other day, it's just that you could see that, like, between this season and the last season I ever watched, you can see that a lot of people are just out of shape nowadays. And obviously COVID, was a big factor in that. But and then on top of that, for just one episode, the first episode, with there being so many whatchamacallit, medical emergencies, like, it was insane. But other than that, like the action, the bickering and everything, towards the end of the tribal council, like, I enjoyed the entire episode.
Yeah, now we'll be going over the entire episode, talking about the next episode in this video. So be sure to stay tuned. Again, we're going to have a little tiny section. So that was our intro, right? And like Tony mentioned, a lot of medical things did happen in this episode, which was shocking. But like I told you, Tony, and I want to ask you too, wasn't it entertaining from the beginning to the end? I mean,
Oh yeah,
the medicals,
definitely.
the challenges, tribal council. We're not going to give away anything unless we tell you. We'll tell you when we're going to give a spoiler. But everything was phenomenal. I mean, everything was phenomenal from the beginning to the end. I thought it was really great. So now we're going to start getting into spoilers. So if you haven't watched it yet, then you might want to click off. But again, let's hop into it. So we're going to go to this article, phenomenal article I found online, talking about all the contestants. And again, this can help me remember who they are and whatnot too. So here, right here, as you can see, is the tribe. Okay, you can see the entire tribe here. Oh, man, a fan favorite, Carolyn. Does anyone, Tony, do you want to start with Carolyn?
Oh, man, Carolyn.
looks totally
She's
different
unique,
from her
put it that way. She's
Unique.
very unique.
normal
Dom,
appearance.
anything you want to mention?
No, I'll let you do that. I'll give you the honors.
I'll say that she's a little bit crazy, but sometimes crazy is a good thing in Survivor. And again, this is something that's going to want us all to watch. The biggest moment for her was, in my opinion, was that challenge, the first award, reward challenge. The
Mhm.
Purple Tribe, Bruce bust opens his head. They're in last place. Between Carson and Jam Jam or Yam Yam, or I think it's Jam Jam, Jam Jam and Helen, they figure out the puzzle. They get back in first place. It's Carolyn's job to throw the rings up the pole. She couldn't get it up. She takes off her pants. She's trying to throw. She didn't get one ring off. Like Don said, she kind of sold. They didn't win the reward, but it didn't seem like it had too big of an impact for her. So that's Carolyn. I'm interested to see. I'm actually excited to see what she does on the next episode. I really am. A fan favorite. Here he is, Jam Jam.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
think? Who wants to go? Tony, I'll let you go first.
I love his personality.
Yeah.
He's just he seems like a nice guy. I want to get to know him.
Yeah.
You know, like it just. But then I feel like I don't know. Like he seems too nice in a way too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's gonna go because it seems like he's gonna try to be friendly with everyone. But honestly, like it is Survivor, and that's basically what you want. You know, you want to try to be like kind of mutual in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I agree with you with that because, like you said too, like sometimes too nice, and we have only seen the nice side of him, and he's really joyful to be around.
Mhm.
He's a bright spot in this season. He was someone that actually even too. Carson was trying to start a fire. Carson's a real smart kid, but Jam Jam, being used to the humidity, he got the fire lit like this, man. He got it lit.
Yeah,
Oh,
right
yeah.
up.
He was prepared because him and his husband would always practice. I think he said on the beach every Sunday.
Yeah, so like you said, that shows that he has experience creating fires and stuff, which is going to help him into the future here. So that's Jam Jam. And again, a fan favorite for sure. Let's go to the next one now. Oh, this is a big one right here. Lauren. Tony, I'll let you go with her first. Go ahead.
I can't stand her. I just can't. She's not my favorite right now at all. Just bottom of the pile for me.
Yeah.
She. I don't know. She just like her added like her. I forget what she did specifically that I just did not agree
I'll
with.
remind you, I think I know.
Yeah, you go on.
It was with the advantage when they get to the island with the stones, right? She picked the stones.
There we go. That's what it was.
She knew which one it was to go to that special island. So, like I said, again, I mean, we don't like it as the fact that she's a villain, but I mean, someone fun to watch. She's fun to watch, and like she's gonna do some things that's gonna. I don't like that either. Very selfish, but again, she's trying to win that $1 million. So, what do you have anything else you want to say?
Seems very manipulative too, in a way.
Yep,
Definitely.
sure.
But again, you got to do what you got to do to win that $1 million, I guess.
Yeah, Don, what do you think about Lauren?
Smart. I see her very smart for doing what she did. You can't have really morals in this type of game. I mean, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But in her sense, it was very smart for her to do what she did. As the viewers, we might not like it, but what does that do? That brings ratings. It brings viewers. But it was very smart on her part. Gives her an advantage. And I would also say that she's a jerk for doing it. But again, you got to do, in her sense, she mentioned it all the time throughout the episode. She's trying to do what's best for her, and she proves that on many occasions.
Absolutely, and she did. And the difference between her and the other ones too, not only did she kind of cheat her way there, she won the advantage. So now in the next tribal council, she has 2 votes. She lost a vote in the last one, but now she has 2. So if you're Brandon or somebody who will be mentioned in a little bit, that is a little bit concerning. All right, let's go to the next one. Here's another fan favorite, young kid, 20 years old, Carson. What do you guys think about Carson? I mean, again, I think he's a fan favorite, and I think he has a good shot at winning this thing. Tony, I'll start with you, then I'll go to
Carson. He showed us that he's got the brains. Like that's the one thing about Survivor. There's gonna be competitions and games where the strongest is gonna win, the most physical is gonna win. But then there's some where if you can think strategically, you're gonna win, and he's one of them. He doesn't have the physique. Even though he did mention that before coming onto the show, he did gain some weight going to the gym, trying to get, fit. But he's definitely more of a mental, competitor.
Absolutely. I mean, he's phenomenal. Between him and Helen, on the same team for that Tika tribe, they're phenomenal. Like they did a great and Jam Jam. The three of them finished that puzzle fast. So Don, what do you think about Carson?
Very smart kid. I think he's a very, very smart kid, and I also think he's determined, very determined to be on this show. Just like what Tony said before he entered on, he was like 115. Carson was like 115, and then he picked up 30 pounds in however short of a month it was. So that just shows you he's determined to be on this show, and he's obviously got the brains for it. And I think he has the guts to do a lot. But one thing, I think he's too not just gullible, but I think he's also too kind. Where if he's in that tribal area or whatever, and you got to vote someone out, I think he's just gonna. I think he's gonna fold, and I don't think he's gonna make the right decision.
Again, I can see that too. Yeah, I good point because I agree with you. Like the one thing about Carson is real smart kid. I know he's working for NASA, I believe, in some sense. Phenomenal. And the thing is that with Bruce going down, and again, that's something that we'll talk about Bruce in a second, but we got to talk about this now. He becomes the main provider physically for that troop. I mean, for that tribe. And I don't know if Bruce was a big guy. Carson's buff too now, but I don't know if he has that experience like a Bruce does with like just a physical athletic guy. I mean, it sounds like Carson's
basically
been
going
out
now.
now. Yeah, it sounds like, Carson's been starting now, picking up, like you said, lifting and stuff. Awesome. But I just wonder how much of a physical presence he's going to be able to provide for his tribe. I think he's one of the favorites. I like him a lot. I think that he has a good shot at winning, and he's one of my favorite guys on this entire Survivor thing. He really is. So that's Carson. Sarah. I like Sarah, too. I'll just talk about her, too, real fast so we can get this thing moving. Sarah's good. We haven't really seen much from her yet either. But she's, again, I believe she was the one that had the advantage of what got to go to the island for the Tika tribe, I believe. She went there, again, just a good person. I don't see anything bad about her yet, or anything in that matter. I think she's a good player. I can't wait to find more about her in an upcoming episode. As we go to the next one here, here's a fan favorite. We got Matt from the Ratu tribe. Tony, I'll let you start. Dom, you go next.
Matt. Well, first off, the guy's an idiot. Like, not in a bad way, but like what he did first day, I get it. He wants to be adventurous. He wants to explore, but to get yourself hurt, and it's not even during a challenge, you're just getting yourself hurt, just being dumb, climbing rocks. It's not a good look. It really isn't, especially day one. I wouldn't have been surprised if he was voted off first, but he wasn't, obviously. And I kind of thought he would be after that in that scenario, because like we mentioned, like the first challenge, the one try, I think it was Sokka that won it.
Yes.
Because him and Brandon did the coconut thing, right?
Yes.
They get their flint and steel, and him and Brandon do that. They're working together. Everything's looking good, and then he goes and does that and ruins it. And it's just I don't know.
Yeah. No, it does stink for sure. And like you said, your take's kind of like Kane, who will be mentioned in a few seconds. He even said after he said, "You hurt yourself." He's like, "What are you thinking?" Like. Mm-hmm. What are you're hurting our tribe. And now, again, if he can't pull his weight for the future, tribal challenges, then they're going to be at a disadvantage, this team. And again, that's a solid point. And, and Kane had thought that. But then the tribe goes out and ultimately tries to vote off Brandon, their most physical player, which really made no sense to me, because imagine if they voted out Brandon and Matt got voted off too. I mean, Matt can't participate and Brandon was voted off. They have no physical presence really on that team.
No.
Be a big person that's strong. Dom, real fast on Matt, what do you think?
I like him. He's a very cool dude. I think he's building up a very strong relationship or bond with Brandon, and I think he's a very nice people's person for his group. I think he's very lucky, though, because if he was put with probably Sokka, I think he would have been, if they ended up having to vote someone out, it would be him. I think he got lucky with the group he's in because majority of the people really don't look at him as a threat. So I don't think they really look at him that he needs to be voted out. he doesn't really have much to bring to the table except his personality. Most of the scenes he's in, he's making people laugh or he's laughing with them. But he's determined, he's trying, and in the coconut scene when he's with Brandon, when he builds up that bond, he doesn't give up. I mean, he has cramps, so does Brandon, but he keeps going. He keeps pulling through and he doesn't stop. So I like that about him. He's very determined as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
not the biggest guy, but he was strong. He kept fighting. And again, actually, 2 points I want to make. He said, not really, being a fit, like they don't look at him as a physical presence. But here's another thing too. Like you got to look at it 2 ways. Yeah, he hurts your tribe right now in challenges, but also if you bring him into the finale and he still has a hurt shoulder, is he gonna really be a threat in the end? I mean, if you bring him into the final 9, final 8, however many you have left, is he gonna be a physical presence if he has a hurt shoulder? Probably not. So he could be an easy guy not to win challenges that you might want to bring until the end because he may not be able to compete. I'm going to go to the next one. Tony, do you have anything else you wanted to say?
I just want to say he's also lucky that they didn't medically boot him either, because like he dislocated his shoulder, but then he
Yeah.
popped it back in. But still, it's like he's lucky that they didn't say, "Hey, you still dislocated it. We got to take you out."
Yeah.
Just to
And
make
again,
sure there's no other damage.
and for those of you that didn't watch the episode, he did fall off a rock, climbing up a rock. Nobody really knows why he was flying, but he loves to be adventurous. Again, I encourage it. Here's one, Helen. She's one of my favorites. What do you guys think? Tony, what do you think about Helen? And then Dom, I'll go to you and we can hurry up.
I mentioned it before. Was she the one that did the brain challenge with Carson, or was that another
Yes,
person? It was her.
her.
Again, another person where she's not gonna, she who knows, but like she's not gonna fit well with the physical challenges, but again with the mental strategic ones, she's gonna do well on.
Absolutely. Dom, anything you want to add?
I think she will be a dynamic duo with Carson. I think she's very smart. She's very she's got. I don't want to keep using the same words, but I think she's just smart and she knows what to do in a tough situation, and she's very confident in herself as well. I
Yeah,
think Carson and Helen, them two, are going to be very strong together mentally. And what else was I going to say? Physical appearance, we didn't really see much about that, but I don't think we're going to need to see a lot of physical stuff from her to be impressive.
absolutely. And like you said too, with her, like between her and Carson, the mental game, they are phenomenal. And then her face when she was looking at Carolyn, when Carolyn was talking to her, she was like, "You're crazy." Tony, you saw that too, right?
Yeah.
We got our man, Kane. Tony, what do you think about Kane?
I mean, he's thinking logical. Like you said earlier, like he said the same thing about Matt. Like, why are you climbing up this rock that's like 20 feet in the air? And then you end up getting yourself hurt like day one. It's not a good look. You're hurting us. You're hurting yourself. He's just thinking logical. But other than that, like he seems like an okay guy. Like his personality's kind of dim. So, but maybe hopefully down the road in later episodes, it jumps up there somehow.
All right, Dom, you guys kind of got moved around. Now you're below Tony now on our screen because our Zoom meeting got cut off. But here we go. What do you think now about Kane?
Kane, very dry person. Doesn't say much. He's definitely out for himself, 100%. I wouldn't say I think I would say he's a team player if he needs to be, but overall, I think he's out for himself and himself only, which is smart. In some cases that's needed. You don't always need to be a team player, especially in this type of situation or surroundings. I wouldn't say he's the most physical person. He's very big, tall, but from what we've seen in the first episode, we didn't see him really use a lot of his strength, if he has any. Um, I don't know how I feel about the guy. I mean, he's just there. He's just Kane. He's just there. Not much else to really say about him.
No, he is. He's just
The
there.
one thing we all noticed was the pose. All three of us noticed his pose on that one scene. He was just kind of sitting there like this, kind of sideways or something. It was great. It was great. The guy's great. I like him. I enjoy him. I hope he goes far, but hey, I don't know. I don't know how far he's going to go, but Kane, man, I'm wishing you luck, but we'll see what happens. But that's Kane, ladies and gentlemen. All right, last but not least, Brandon. Tony, I'll start with you, then I'll go to Don. What do you think about Brandon?
Brandon is my favorite. It was Bruce. I loved Bruce. Unfortunately, cracked his head open, got taken out with the concussion.
It was short-lived.
I know, but next in line,
Quite literally.
Brandon. I mean, again, he's got the physicality. I think he also has the brain, to do strategic strategies too. Because like you already see him, like that's the number one reason why the tribe almost turned on him, because they seen, as they mentioned, the kingpin. He's got the leader mindset, the controlling mindset. In order to do that, you got to somewhat be strategic and know what you're doing and what you're saying, what, the who, and when, and where, and how. I think all around he's one of the best. So he's my top favorite to win it. Again, a big target though too. He already has a target on his back. Who knows how long he's going to last? I hope it's long. Who knows?
Yeah, Dom, what do you think about Brandon?
He's overall a great survivalist. Not only is he strong, athletic, purely because he was in the NFL, so he knows the physicalities part. But I wouldn't say he's smart, but I think he's, as some would say, street smart. He's got that common sense of who to trust, who not to trust, and know when somebody's faking. And at the end of this episode, he finds out that majority of the team are really rooting against him. He was able to get one of the guys out, Maddie, going against him, but now he's got to worry about a couple other people. And overall, I think he's pretty good, and I think he will definitely go far. Now, near the end, when it's just like it's individual, I think it's going to be tough, because I think most people are going to be like, they need to get him out. It's very early now, so it might just be a flame right now. But near the end, it's just going to be a full-on ball of fire, because I think people are going to see him as the biggest threat. Because, I mean, look at him. He's very athletic. Even though he went down in, I think it was the second challenge, or third, it was the second one, I think. He went down, and I think people are still going to see him as a very big threat, and it's not going to be really good for him overall.
Yeah, you just look at him, he's a big guy. And like you said, Tony mentioned, if you guys both mentioned smart, like, Dom, you mentioned the difference between being like smart with the puzzles kind of versus smart with a feel. He may not be like Carson and Helen with the puzzles. He may be. I don't know yet. But one thing I will tell you is that he knew to play that idol. I was screaming at the TV, play the idol, you're going to give a... He played the idol, and he got a person out. That shows that he's really smart. He knows what's going on. He has a good feel. So that's Brandon. All right, now we're going to stop sharing the screen. We're going back just us three real fast, and we're going to wrap this thing up. So, all right, that's all that crap. We went out of the way. Those are all the contestants. We talked about everything real fast. Choose your favorite tribe. Who is it? Dom, we'll start with you.
It's very tough. I think I'm going to have to say Tika is my favorite tribe.
Tony?
I'm going to have to say Rat too, because of all the drama going on right now.
I'm going to go Tika as well, but I do agree it's between Tika and Rat 2, because those are the two that were really shown. Soka, man, I'm not bought into any of the people on Soka yet, to be honest with you.
No, me either.
And you want to know the funny part? They're the best tribe right now.
Yes.
Yet
absolutely.
Probably most people would say they aren't their favorites.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny, but.
All right, real fast, I want to go over a few things of the last episode, and then we're going to talk about the next episode, and we're done. Last episode, I mean, we start off like we said. The guy hits his head. Bruce gets out of there. That stinks. All that stuff. But mainly coming down to tribal council, because we didn't really get to talk about that yet. Brandon was a guy that, physical monster, big guy, and he gets everyone. Matt didn't vote, right? He used that shot in the dark. Jamie didn't vote. She used a shot in the dark. So then you got down to the final few votes. And I'm sorry, Lauren didn't vote because she had the advantage where she can't vote this time, but she has 2 votes next time. So there was only 3 votes. Brandon's vote, Maddie, right? Maddie's vote, and Kane's vote. And both Kane and Maddie voted against Brandon. So now Brandon's scratching his head because now he knows that Kane's not for him. So now how does this twist things? And honestly, who was Brandon's best ally? Just one of you shout it out.
Maddie.
Not Maddie. Oh, Matthew.
Matthew.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Matthew. Matt. and Matt
Mhm.
didn't vote. So
'Cause
what does it do?
I still think that he just didn't wanna I don't think he wanted to vote. I
I
know you
don't
think that it
I
was just because
I don't think it's that he didn't want to vote. It's just he was stuck in a hard place where Brandon was telling him to vote Lauren, and you got Maddie screwing that up, like you said, the snake going through, turning things around, and then everyone now is jumping ship to vote Brandon. And the same
He
thing with
didn't want to do
Jamie.
that.
I think Jamie was the same way. It was like they didn't want. It's not that they didn't want to vote. It's just they didn't want to put targets on their backs. But I think by doing this, they somewhat did. You
Absolutely.
know?
And that's what I was getting to. Like, look at it from Brandon's. I understand Matt's point of view. Jamie, I think the same thing. But look at it from, I mean, to me, the better play was Matt there because Matt had a chance of getting voted off. Unfortunately, it was not safe for him. The
Mhm.
shot in the dark, too. So he would have been screwed either way because of the arm. So he might have got voted off. It only took one vote to get voted off this time. But my whole thing is, look at it from Brandon's point of view. Brandon, his closest ally, the guy that pulled coconuts with him,
For
Yeah.
4 hours.
vote with
4
him,
hours.
didn't vote with him. So if you're Brandon, you're kind of like, now you're like, my closest ally didn't even vote for me. When you walk back to your tribe that night, what we're going to see on the opening, what is he thinking at this point? He's probably thinking, nobody's with me, and how does he trust Matt now from this point forward? That's my point.
Yeah.
All right. Besides that, well played by him. Lauren has an advantage. What do you think? I mean, who's the bit right now? I'm not even going to go over that. Let me just ask this. Next episode, what do you think is going to happen? Dom, we'll start with you, and then Tony, I'll go to you, and then we'll wrap it up with a final question.
I mean, I'm not the most best at predicting and what's gonna happen next episodes in most situations, but I I think it's gonna be more on the Green Tribe. I think something's gonna happen. They're finally gonna lose, and I think some drama is gonna break out because they just haven't been shown at all. I can't see much happening with the Tika tribe, but I think there's gonna be a lot of drama in Ratu. And I think the two main showers of the tribes, or the two main tribes that are going to be showed next episode, is going to be Soka and Ratu. And with like Brandon, like you said, he's going to be put in a tough situation because he's not going to know who to trust. He doesn't know Laura would have voted for him if she didn't have that disadvantage. So he's just going to be in a tough situation, and it's just going to be a dramatic fest over there. Soka, I think they just didn't get any screen time, and I think something's bound to happen. The universe is going to make it happen where Soka is either going to lose overall, and somebody's going to get voted off, or someone's going to win, someone's going to get hurt. Something I think is bound to happen in Soka,
Tony, what do
at
you
least for the next episode.
I agree. Next episode, we definitely are gonna see more of Soka. Definitely, especially with this first episode, we barely got to see any of that tribe, and it was a 2-hour segment. Tika, like again, like they're like I think I mentioned this to you, Nick. I think every season they always have the one tribe that's like the physicality, the strength. They have the one tribe that's all brains and strategic thinking. And then you got the one tribe that's mixed. Ratu's the physical, Tika's the brains, and Sokka's like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Tika, they're not gonna do well in the physicals, but the brains are gonna do well in. But I think for next episode when it gets to the council, if Ratu is back in the council, it sucks to say because he is my favorite, but I think Brandon's gone because they already don't like him, majority of that tribe. Lauren, like you said, didn't use her vote today. This past Wednesday, she decided to, because her advantage was you can either she didn't have to use it then, she could have saved it, but it's her advantage was any council you don't want to vote, you bank your vote, the next council you're on, you'll have 2 extra votes then. That's what she did. I think what she's going to try to do is next council try to finish off what they started with trying to get him out of there and using those 2 votes on him.
Absolutely. I can definitely see that happening. And then that's why I want to real fast just point this out, because I said this was my last question, and that is going to be my last question. But this makes us wonder, and I said this before too, should have Brandon have voted out Lauren? I thought he was going to vote out Lauren personally because she had the disadvantage. Vote her out. You'll never have to worry about the advantage. But instead, he voted out Maddie. Now, you might have made the wrong decision. So we'll have to wait and see. Here's my final thing.
But I want to add one more thing. None of us mentioned. Obviously, we mentioned that Brandon got that immunity idol that was sitting in the cage right in the middle of camp. No one else yet near the tribes have gotten it yet.
Yes. Yep.
They have not opened it up yet. So that's something to look forward to in the next couple of episodes. Maybe even next episode. You know, maybe one of the next tribes get theirs. Or
and is it as open? Or is it hidden? Do they share it? You know, there's so many ways that can be used. We don't know yet. All right, last thing. Give me your list. I would keep it within 5 at the most. Your favorite players from this season. Dom, I'll start with you. Maybe you had this formulator somewhat, or maybe not. I don't know.
All right, we're going to go Brandon. And then Matthew, the one from Ratu. Then Helen and Carson.
Tony?
Bruce would have been on there, but
I'm going to have to I'm going to have to go. I know he's not on there. He was my number one guy, Bruce. I feel bad for the man. He's my number one, even though he's no longer there. Bruce, Brandon. So Brandon's my second. I'm gonna have to go again, like Dom said, Matthew from Ratu. Carson. And then, like I said, for some reason, something about Danny and Sokka I like. I don't know why. Something about Danny in there.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you my 4. You guys are all forgetting somebody. Jam Jam. Did anybody mention Jam Jam?
You know what? I'm going to take that back. Bruce is an honorary mention, but Jam Jam is my 5th.
All right.
Jam Jam is definitely my 5th.
All right. My 4. Jam Jam. Helen. Matthew Orange. Okay. And last but not least, Carson. Carson, to me, I feel like Carson has a good shot at winning too. Not only is he one of my favorites, I feel like him and Helen have a good shot at winning. And again, it's going to come down to is Carson, because out of the 4 I mentioned, I mean, Matthew too, but Matthew has a dislocated shoulder. And I'm sorry, I forgot Brandon. How did I forget Brandon? Brandon as well. So Brandon, Jam Jam, Helen, Matthew Orange, and Carson. Those are my top 5. I want them to win. I want them to get further, and hopefully we get to see them. That's all from me. That's all from us. And one other thing I want to mention that Tony mentioned earlier, that you said Brains, that was like that season, Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. There was an episode like that where they specifically did that. But trying to see that now again a little bit, even with this episode.
I think that was the last time I watched. I believe that was it. The Brains versus, I remember that. Now you mentioned that.
So we'll be back once a week, every week. Hopefully we can do it closer to Wednesdays. We'll recap the last episode. It won't be as long next time because it's only going to be an hour long. We'll recap, and not only will we recap, but then we'll also talk a little bit about the next episode. And this was long too because we had to talk about all the contestants. But now, that's all. Until next time, we'll see y'all soon. Peace. We are
Built Better.
Yes, soon. Peace.